Joining me this week to discuss the Office of Youth and some of their successful programs, we have brought on some of the current students and former students. Right now joining me is none other than Mr. Arnold Pierre. Welcome, Arnold.
Welcome.
Ms. Michelle Wallace.
Hello.
And Whitney Anasius.
Hello.
Did I say it right, Whitney?
Yeah.
Okay. Arnold, how did you come into the Office of Youth? How did you hear about it?
The first time I heard about the Office of Youth was through my cousin. When I was in high school, when we were in high school, he told me to come with him to City Hall. At first, I hesitated. I'm saying, why are we going to City Hall? Like, I want to go home. But he said, no, you should come through. There's this guy named Stan Neron who works at the Office of Youth, who does well with the youth, who goes to different activities, and we have different workshops. Around that time, we had different seminars. And I attended, I went with my cousin to City Hall, and I would never forget this, the first thing Stan said to me was, wow, he gave me a handshake and he said, you're going to be a leader one day. And that was like the first time somebody said that to me, so that always stayed with me. And in moments like that, I reflect on that day where that single word actually propelled me to where I am today.
So we fast forward now, and we'll backtrack in a second, but we fast forward now, you now are an employee working with the Office of Youth. Correct. And you work at the BFL program.
Correct.
You went on to college after graduating high school.
Correct.
Where'd you go to college? First,
I attended Union County College, which I truly had a pleasant time there. Union County College gave me the foundation, I believe, for me to be able to move on and to graduate from Union County College and move on to Rutgers University, where I've recently graduated out of.
And what was your major there?
Criminal justice.
Okay. And prior to going into college, you had to take the SAT course?
Actually, because I went to community college, the SATs was not a requirement for me to take for me to be enrolled in community college, because anyone who applies to community college, you automatically accept it.
Right.
It's that you would, if based on the test that they give you, the entry test, if you don't perform well enough, you would just take remedial classes.
Now, you were an exception to the rule, but for others, the SAT is very important and is a very highly skilled test. Whitney, you're preparing to, or did you take the SAT course? Yes.
I took it already.
And how did you find the test?
I found it. Well, the test itself was like a lot to take in, because in the back of your mind you're thinking, wow, this is the test that's gonna get me into college. But at the same time, because of the SAT course that I took, I wasn't really like surprised with the questions that were on the test, because they constantly went over them each week. So I was familiarized with them in a way. So.
And when you say they, we're talking about BFL? Okay, so BFL offers free SAT courses, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and they are orchestrated by Michelle Wallace?
Yes.
And Michelle, the name of your company?
I'm the Vice President of Teens Communicating to Win. It's a youth initiative that actually started right here in Elizabeth.
And your affiliation with the BFL program, what do you do with the students there?
Right now, I do the SAT preparation course. In the past, I have done the HESPA, which is the high school proficiency exam. I've done a preparation course for them for that. And I've also done character development with gender-specific workshops for the Building Future Leaders program.
Now, what's the rate for SAT course right now?
Right now, the market rate is about $1,500 to about $2,000, and that's only for a 6-week program. You know, the Building Future Leaders program, it's just great what they offer. They get a free book. We use the Princeton Review Cracking the SAT book. They get a free book and a 10-week SAT course.
And besides that, do you provide any additional resources in the class?
Yes, we have certified teachers that are there. Me with my strong, crazy English background, they call me the English Nazi just a little bit. And we really try to make it interactive. Whitney will say, I just don't do vocabulary words. We have vocabulary bees, almost like a spelling bee. Have to get in front of the class. They compete. So we try to make it as interactive as possible. We provide the resources. They email me some of their work. They have questions. I'm always there afterward. I'm always there ahead of time. So they can still have me on a one-on-one basis, even though it's a class setting.
And what are the benefits of taking the class?
The benefits are, almost as Whitney said, is to help familiarize them with the test. You know, I've had students that have already taken the SAT that are walking into the class saying, I wish I would have known what the test looked like. They don't know, and especially when it comes to the writing. They only have 25 minutes to prepare an essay. That's not a lot of time. So a lot of them don't understand the really important aspects that need to be in that essay for only 25 minutes to compose it. So walking to the exam, just knowing what it looks like, knowing what the questions look like, familiarizing yourself with what you're going to be asked just helps a lot. And then on top of that, me and Mr. Morissette, he does the math portion of the SAT preparation course. We give them the skills that they need to be able to answer the question. I always tell the students, it's not if you get the answer right, it's knowing why the answer is right. So no matter how the test asks you, you'll be able to answer that question correctly.
Whitney, based on what you just said, that information, did it really help you as you took the test?
Yeah. Like for instance, there was like this one part of the test, like part of like the English section, was the area ID questions, and every week she would pretty much go over them. Like if we had like trouble, like wax question, like she'll go over them, and because she did it, like when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, I know these. It's like I kind of went through them like that, but like other kids were like struggling. So like because of her, I think I did pretty good.
Now, Michelle, in other places, do you teach this course where people have to pay for it?
I do. I also offer one-on-one SAT preparation, which usually is what a lot of students prefer, so they can just sit down with me or Ms. Morissette one-on-one and get that. And just to sit down with us one time for an hour is about between $50 to $65 an hour, just once. Usually if students want a larger course outside of this great city of Elizabeth, then it would be that market rate from about $1,500 to about $2,000.
Wow. And for BFL, is there a summer component that you work with the students on?
Yes. The summer component is wonderful. It's really, really pushing them and preparing them for college. And with that is when I institute, it's about a 6-week HESPA preparation course. Before we can even think about college, they need to be able to pass this HESPA exam. And again, a lot of them, they're getting it in school, but what I do is I come in with very fun, interactive games. I like to make sure they're learning without knowing that they're learning, and that's usually what they do over the summer. Plus, we do some character development things. Let's talk about self-esteem. Let's talk about, the multiple intelligence models. Now, everyone learns the same, like, how do you learn, and how can we base that off of a career? So when you ask a freshman or a sophomore that has been with me, they already know what they want to major in because they've actually talked about their hobbies, what they're interested in, how they like to learn. And just preparing them to just be full-rounded people. I just can't educate you if you don't have the social skills and the life skills to cope in different environments. So we really care, and the Building Future Leader program really looks up to its name. They care about the student from the inside out, from the classroom, outside the classroom.
As you work with the students throughout the year, have you had opportunity, or is there opportunity for you to provide employment or some type of skills work afterwards?
Absolutely. The Building Future Leaders program has been one of the best resources for hiring some students, some interns into our office. Right now, there are 2 students that were in the Building Future Leaders program. They're actually in the SOAR program when they were younger also. And when I go to different workshops or I go to SAT courses, students that just stick out. They probably ask more questions. They're a little bit more attentive. There's something there that I feel like, as Arnold said, when someone looks at you and says you're a leader, I see that also. I offer them to come in my office for a little internship, maybe start doing some office work. And right now, one of our interns we met that way is now our human resource person and our marketing chair. So she's really stepped up. And I love to kind of get out there, meet students, and just see where they can go.
Now, I know BFL also works with resume writing and things of that nature. Are you involved in that aspect or no?
I personally am not. But I have, because working in so many compassionate students, I have gotten emails like, can you edit this resume for me? Does this make sense? So I don't mind helping out the Building Future Leader program in any way that is not just strictly with some of the courses that I teach.
And what are some other services that you're offering?
Through Teens Communicating to Win, it's our program, we say TC Win. We offer everything when it comes to youth. We have our HESPA preparation course. Then we have our literacy enhancement course, which is just getting students excited about reading. Sometimes when they're in school, they have to get these required readings, and they kind of forget that there's fun things out there like a Toni Morrison book, or Their Eyes Are Watching God, Zero Neale Hurston. So let's talk about those books. Let's get you excited about literacy. We also do the character development workshops, which really are gender specific. Because as you're growing into adolescenthood, there are just different things that males are struggling with versus what females are going to be struggling with. So we kind of like to separate that, train them, and build them up that way. We also, again, offer SAT courses. We offer a college readiness program, which really, I do everything for the students except pack their bags and send them in the car for college. We fill out applications. We write essays. We research scholarships. I'll sit down with parents and fill out a FAFSA form. Anything that gets my students into college, we do that also. So those are all services that we offer under TC Win.
And how often do the students meet for training for the SAT classes?
Twice a week for 2 hours.
And Whitney, how did you feel the first time you went there for the training?
Overwhelmed.
Nervous?
Yeah, I was nervous because I didn't really know how the class was gonna be ran. I didn't know how it was gonna go, so I was kind of I'm not shy. I'm not a shy person. Everybody, I'm not shy, but if I'm in an environment where I don't know how things are gonna go, I'm gonna kind of step back and see, and then react afterwards.
Now, the classes for the SAT course, did that give you confidence to go in there and take the test?
Yeah, it definitely did. I wasn't afraid. A lot of people, a lot of my friends were oh my God, SATs, but I was it's a test.
And would you recommend the class for others?
Yes, please go out and get classes.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with the second half of Our City, okay?
Okay.
Thank
right.
you.
We'll be back with the second half of Our City after these words. Thank you. Welcome back to the second half of Our City, where we're talking to some folks from the Office of Youth, kind of focusing on the BFL program. But joining us here on the second half is Eunice Edmonds. How are you, Eunice?
Good.
All right. Now, Eunice, you go back with the Office of Youth back to the SOAR program, and I believe you started how old were you?
I was 5 years old when I actually began the SOAR program. Actually, I knew about it because my sisters went there before, so as we got older, every other of us, we went through the SOAR program since we were little.
Were you looking forward to going, my sisters
I
did?
always was excited because after my sisters would come, they would be like, oh my gosh, today was so fun. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I wish I could go, but I was too young to go, so I had to wait till it was my turn to go, actually.
Okay. And Arnold, you were someone who kind of were responsible for the start of the Building Future Leaders program. You and your friends came in, you talked to Brother Stan, and you kind of overcrowded City Hall to the point that it was so many kids there every day. What was the drawing card that brought so many high school kids into City Hall to hang out every day?
To be honest with you, till this day, I'm thinking about it. I don't know what draws us to City Hall every day.
Right.
It brought us to, we was in the conference room, number one, and we would just debate about different topics, different social issues that was going on around that time. And it was just very rewarding to be around around students who sometimes some of them were not counted on of being very intellect in terms of talking about different social issues, talk about sex, talk about drugs in the community and how that affected them.
So now you start the inception of BFL, and we fast forward, it's grown. Whitney, how do you like going to BFL?
BFL is such a fun program. Before BFL, I would usually go to school, go home, just do nothing, just chill. But BFL gave me a place to go and meet new people, have better opportunities with life and community service, helping out the community itself. So yeah, it was helpful.
Now, Eunice, you started out with SOAR and you graduated to BFL. Did you feel like you went on to a bigger thing, or do you miss the old SOAR program?
I missed the SOAR program, but I was actually happy to go to BFL because we couldn't do as much things and serious things as we could do in SOAR. But when I went up to BFL, we learned more experience and went deeper, experience of what will be in life.
And Whitney, have you met new friends since you've been at BFL?
Yeah, I have.
And you're able to do your community service hours through BFL or no?
Yeah, on Tuesdays. Like we had the opportunity to go to actually like food banks, and there was a certain point where we actually went back to SOAR to tutor the little kids, like play with them, you know, kind of interact with them. So it was like a really fun experience.
And have you been able to complete some of your community hours?
Yeah, we went to food banks, we feed the homeless, we would do different activities. Like just recently we did the showcase for community service hours, and it was actually fun because we got to see the different people that went to the showcase and stuff.
Did either one of you have the chance or opportunity to go over to the World Trade Center?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Was that in
That was fun.
November?
It was very cold, and we got to see the different names and it was just a fun experience to go through.
Did you have a good time also, Whitney?
I had a good time. Like this, I think it would have been better if it was like nicer outside because I was like freezing. But like it was a really good experience because like ever since like the bombing of 9/11, I've been to the World Trade Center once with my uncle. Like probably, I don't know, like 7 years after, and just to see what they did with it and like how they're trying to improve it was like it's a like really joyful experience, I would say.
So we have a child here who started at the age of 5 and going on, and then you come along, and then now you, who've gone through the program, also just graduated from Rutgers.
Yeah.
What's your give back now? What's your advice to those coming up?
My advice would be, I know the first segment you talked about the SAT program. First, get yourself into a good SAT program that's going to prepare you for the challenges that are ahead in college, in any college that you prefer, ladies. Because one thing I encountered in college was the expectation. Coming from Elizabeth High School, they didn't really prepare me. Like I said, Union County College gave me the foundation. When I went to Rutgers, I was already familiarized with the workload, even though Rutgers was more, it was a more heavier workload than Union County College. But to say to the high school students, get yourself in a good SAT program. Hang around like-minded people who actually care for you, who actually want you to succeed. I remember in my pastor in church usually says, through his freshman year, from freshman to senior, he saw these guys hanging around the cafeteria. And after he graduated, he came back to the school, he saw the same guys in the cafeteria hanging around. So I would say to you, college is very crucial. Yes, have fun. There are parties. I'm not going to sugarcoat, there are parties. You're going to do some things that you may regret, but that's the process of growing.
Now, Arnold, would you say that BFL inspired you or kind of elevated you into college?
I would say if it wasn't for BFL, I wouldn't be in college.
Wow.
Because you have to understand, the first time I met Stan, he told me I was a leader. So from right there was an expectation that was put upon me that I had to propel. I had to go to college because my first route was going to the military. So after 9/11 and Bush ordered.
Well, press pause for a second. We'll come back to that. Eunice, what is your goal now? Where are you headed after high school?
After high school, I want to go to college, and I probably actually when I was in SOAR, we did a play, Wizard of Oz, and I was the lion, and that really motivated me to actually, when I go to college, go be like an actor or a dancer, sing and stuff. It was really fun, and that just really motivated me to be a dancer.
Now, you used to be shy at SOAR, am I right?
Yeah.
And out of the blue, you become an actress, and you're the lion, and now your sister's also in SOAR, right?
My sisters went to SOAR, but now they're in college. Well, they're off break now. But
What schools are they in?
Marlene is in Montclair State University, and Lucy's in William Patterson.
And both went through SOAR and the BFL?
Yes.
Okay. And Whitney, where do you see yourself after high school?
College, definitely.
You
At
have,
Montclair State University.
and your major's going to be?
Psychology.
Okay. Arnold, if you could design your own after-school program, what would be some of the elements that you would put in it?
I would say the same elements that are in BFL. And I truly,
And what are some of those elements?
the elements would be first, show unconditional love. As soon as a child walks in through the door, you don't judge the child. You welcome the child, because what happens sometimes is we have this preconceived notion of the child already in our mind based on the attire that the child is wearing, which sometimes automatically shuts you off. The second element would be having a real solid educational component to the program, because when you come from a urban neighborhood, sometimes that's lacking. Sometimes that's put on the side burner. I say first would be unconditional love. Show the child that you love them regardless. But the second element would be having an educational component so you can strengthen the child's education.
And Eunice, in addition to what Arnold just said, what would you add to an after-school program if you could create your own?
A lot of clubs, dance, drill team, act, checkers, games, competitions like they did in SOAR.
And for the older kids, what would you recommend for them?
Probably college tours, workshops, a lot of workshops. I don't know, a lot.
And Whitney, if you can create your own after-school program, what thing would you add besides what Arnold and Eunice already gave us?
Well, they pretty much said everything. Wow. Yeah, they pretty much said everything. There's really not much I can say, but maybe.
Okay.
Well, okay. I have something. Maybe something. Right now in the BFL program, a lot of the guys love to play basketball. Like they love basketball. So meaning making like a BFL, or like if it was my program, they probably have like several basketball teams within the program. Like they could probably compete against each other. Maybe have like a cheerleading team and like
Okay.
yeah, like there's a different sports team within the program.
Eunice, have you taken an SAT course, or you're not old enough yet?
Well, I'm just a freshman, so
Okay. Are you looking forward to it?
yes.
Never too young.
We have
Too young to-
well, thank you all for joining us today on this segment, and congratulations, Arnold, on your recent graduation from college.
Thank you.
And Eunice, you'll come back 4 years from now, so we can, or 8 years from now, so we can tell you the same. And we'll see
I'm
you.
graduating next year, so
We'll come back 4 years from now, so we can congratulate you.
thank you.
Don't forget to join us on Facebook, where it's City of Elizabeth NJ, and also join us on our website, www.elizabethnj.org. Thank you for tuning into this segment of Our City. Have a safe and wonderful week. Thank you.